Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Today we'll be continuing our unit highlight videos on the new units to be added in the next patch and DLC cycle for the Twisted and the Twilight. With this video being our last one, where we'll be looking over Drycha and her forces. Now, before we begin, there are a few things that you need to know about this army. Yes, the majority of this army is reskinned units. You have to bear in mind that this, at the end of the day, is another Wood Elf faction. And obviously, this is FLC. They won't go full ham creating new, unique looking units for an FLC. And especially not a full army. But with all that being said, let's check out the army. We'll obviously start off with Drycha, your faction leader and your legendary lord. She is a melee caster hybrid with access to the Lore of Shadows. She'll have access to all the benefits of Forest Spirit. In fact, most of the army will too, so we won't mention that again. And obviously she also has Frenzy, because she's a bit of an angry girl. She'll also have access to a bound spell, which will allow her to summon in extra Dryad units. Generally the character is quite fine to take into close combat, decent stats and a fairly high armor value. Being able to use her spell lore up close and personal will keep her safe enough. And the fact that she also has a constant area of effect buff which will increase allies' melee attack and base weapon damage means that you'll want her up close and personal as much as possible. Your basic hero characters are that of the Malevolent Branch Wraiths, where you can have access to 3 different laws of magic, the Lore of Life, the Lore of Shadows and the Lore of Beasts. Stat-wise, they're the same as the other Branch Wraiths, except that the Malevolent Branch Wraith also has Frenzy and more choices for laws of magic. If you want to go full theme and you want no elves whatsoever, you're able to with this army. The great thing too is that you won't need to get the elven spellcasters who, while still having the same laws, are quite squishy in close combat, whereas the Malevolent Branch Wraith can easily be taken in without a problem. If of course you're not really interested in the Malevolent Branch Wraiths but still want magic just with a bit of a harder physical punch, you can get a Malevolent Ancient Tree Spirit. Again, you have 3 variants, with the Lore of Shadow, the Lore of Beasts, or the Lore of Life. The Branch Wraiths seem like they're a little pointless, but you have to bear in mind that the Ancient Treemen themselves are a bit slower. And sometimes speed is exactly what you need, so with both different hero choices to pick from, you have variety for both different styles of combat. Something that came as a surprise to me is that we have a legendary hero for this faction. Coadil, another ancient treeman but with a mixture of the lore of dark magic and the lore of beasts. He's also got access to his own bound spell, which is great against single entity units. This is in essence another ancient treeman, however he's geared to do a lot more damage, and the extra added spells in the lore of dark magic will add to some spell variety for the faction. Your baseline unit is that of the Malevolent Dryad. This is your basic unit which you can recruit as soon as possible. Again, use the Malevolent Dryads as you would a standard Dryad. They have exactly the same stats, barring the fact that the Malevolent Dryad also has Frenzy. You will also have access to some creatures of the forest too, the first being the Cavebats, which have Forest Stalker, Vanguard Deployment, Expendable, and are weak against armor. Yes, they are in essence reskinned vampire count Fellbats, and what you should do is use them exactly the same way, but bear in mind that these are living creatures, so they will not stay in combat and crumble, they will instead break and flee. Giant spiders are also a unit for you here, with Forest Stalker and poison attacks. They are one of 2 possible fast unit options, and well, they'll do a decent amount of damage. Their poison attacks will make sure that they bring some harm, and their decently high armor value will make sure that they're not slaughtered within seconds. But bear in mind that their low melee attack and weapon strength will come to play here. We've also got access to some giant wolves, because if there's anything that Creative Assembly love more than dragons, it's dog units that can be reskinned. The dogs have Forest Stalker, they're very fast, Vanguard Deployment, and weak against armor. This is what can be expected, and these are your war machine hunters. Use them exactly as you would warhounds, direwolves, and so on. Drycha can also make use of feral manticores. However, at this point, a lot of people, if not the whole player base, is well acquainted with them, so let's not spend too much time here. Great Hawks can essentially be considered a unique unit. Flying war beasts with forest stalker, armor piercing, very fast, and vanguard deployment. They're in a fairly large unit size, and you can use them for a variety of different things. In all honesty, when I've been playing with these Great Hawks, I've been using them as my flankers. If enemy war machines are too far away, I'll generally use the Great Hawks to snipe them out and then bring them back for the enemy rears. Manetrikin once again are another reskin, exactly the same stats as the normal tree skin, but also with the added benefit of frenzy, so you can use them exactly the same way as you would use treekin, and they are the only form of monstrous infantry that you will have in your roster if you decide to go with just the Malevolent army. And is it me, or do they look a lot sadder when they're with the purple paint scheme? And lastly, of course, the Malevolent Treeman. Once again, the same basic stats as every Treeman has in every other Wood Elf faction. The difference is the added bonus of Frenzy, but this is your monster unit. If you're going with your theme, then this is the only monster that you will have access to. You won't have any dragons, and that might be a bit of a clutch. So yes, this army is mostly reskins. However, I think it's been done well. The reskin colour to the whole darker, sadder, lilac-y purple fits well with the theme. You'll of course still have access to the grand majority of the elf units, however they will be a little weaker as they are glamoured instead of being part of the actual roster. If you want to go for something thematic, you wouldn't be using any elves anyway. I think the representation of Drycha and her forces is done pretty well in terms of army visualization. We shouldn't expect any unique units in terms of tree spirits that no other wood elf would have, because at the end of the day, these are the very same tree spirits, just some of them have been influenced otherwise. In a few short days, we'll be able to highlight Drycha and her faction in the campaign, but so far, in terms of army visualization, I think it's done well. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel has been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.